Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. It is just a glorious December evening here in Southwest Florida. Beautiful day, sun, a few puffy clouds in the sky. It's just great. Another great day to be here and growing orchids. What I want to do today is I just have a short video and I want to highlight a couple of my first blooms, and those are behind me. The first one right up here is a Cattleya Cornelia Kalapana. And this is my first bloom on this plant. This is pretty. The plant itself is pretty big. There's 7 blooms on it right now, and it's my first bloom. So this was a plant that a orchid growing friend, not quite gifted to me, but sold to me for a really good price. I've had it for I guess about 9 months. And this is the first bloom that I've seen on it, and I'm really happy with it. I took a look at this orchid online, and this comes from a little bit of it's unclear exactly where this comes from. So it's Cattleya Cornelia Kalapana. That's how it's labeled. And when you look at the background, the history, the cross that was made to generate this either came in, or was registered either in 1893, 1954, or 1979. So it's unclear. And because of that, the background in this Cattleya is also not very clear. What's interesting about it is very prolific. As you can see, it makes a lot of flowers. The flowers are fragrant. We'll take a closer look at it in just a second. And it's really a nice one for me to have. But again, the background on it is not as clear as I'd like it to be. So there's Cattleya labiata that might be in it. There's Cattleya pumila that might be in it. And again, it depends on which one of these background crosses you believe. If you know more than me about this, I would appreciate hearing what you think this has in its background. It just really is a nice, very prolific, fragrant orchid. Again, one of the interesting things about this that I didn't quite catch right, but when the flowers open, they're really light pink to white. And then over the course of a day or two, they turn this nice pink coloration. And what I wanted to do was grab this plant when the newest flower opened and it was white. And I thought that would be today, but maybe it was yesterday afternoon. So the newest flower on this opened up, and it turned pink pretty quickly. Anyway, we'll take a close look at it in just a little bit. The other one that I want to share with you is right here, and this is Tainan City. And again, we'll take a closer look at this one. And from the markings on this, if you're familiar with Toshi Aoki, you can tell there's a lot of Toshi Aoki in there. So it is, from looking at this, it is 3/4. So one of the parents is Toshi Aoki, and one of the parents actually has Toshi Aoki as a parent. So there's a lot of that. The markings in the flower are pretty indicative of that. But this plant, this is the first bloom on this. And the first bloom on this, sorry about that, the first bloom on this plant it's a little bit different from what I've seen. So I'll show you this as we get closer to it in just a second. So let me get behind the camera and show you what some of these flowers look like close up. Okay, and we're back. So this is Cornelia Kalapana, a little close-up look at the flower, and this is nice. This has a nice pink color to it, but if you take a close look at the lip of this thing, it has some nice dark pink to purple inside, nice yellow inside of that. But then on the edge, you see that there's a little bit of a pink outline. So this is a nice flower, nice plant, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then finally the 7th flower right there. What I want to do, we can take a look at this flower right here. So this is a flower that's been open for maybe about a week and a half, and it's a nice shaped flower. It's pretty open, flat, very symmetrical. It's got nice coloration to it, and it's moving a little bit in the wind. So this is a nice flower, and this is typical what you see. And as we move over a little bit to this flower here, and then this is the newest flower right here, and this just opened yesterday, and you may or may not be able to tell. So the sepals, the petals on the right and left side of this flower haven't quite opened all the way because this just opened, like I said, yesterday. But the other thing that you may or may not be able to see is that this petal right here, the sepal on the one side, is a little bit lighter. So when they open up, they're really light colored, and then over time they start to turn a little bit more pink. So that's the one thing that's interesting about this. Again, the plant itself, if we take a look at it, it's not huge, but it is a nice sized plant. And again, this is the first bloom that I've seen on it, but it's a nice sized plant. You know, the flowers are nice, symmetrical, and again, one of the nice things that I like about it is they're nicely fragrant. I haven't decided if I'm going to use these in any of my crosses yet. I think I'd like to. I just wanted, but it really has a nice, the blooms are pretty nice, and I think they last a long time too. So this, like I said, this has been open maybe a couple of weeks, this flower, and actually these 3 flowers here, the flowers on this spike, the 3 flowers on this spike bloomed maybe a little bit later, and again there's just a single flower right here on this spike. The reason there's only 1 flower on this spike is I was bad. I was interfering and I knocked the 2nd flower off. So I didn't think it was going to emerge, and I was trying to help it, and you know, a lot of times when you try to help, you do more harm than good. So anyway, that's this guy right here, Cornelia Kalapana. Okay, so moving on, and let's take a look at Tainan City right here. And I want to get close to the bloom because it's a little bit unusual. So this thing, if you look at the lip on this plant, this should be mostly red and dark red. And what you see in here is there's a lot of yellow that's in there. Now the splotches, you know, there's the splotch on the left that you can see, that you see in some of the Tainan City flowers that I've seen that's posted. And what I'm going to do is move this over to the left, and I'm going to show you on the right side. I'll place in what the flowers, the published flowers of this should look like, and you can see how it's a little bit different. Now, I don't know if the striping of the yellow that's on the left, if that's an indication of anything, or more importantly, of something that I'm doing wrong. But if you want to comment about that, if you want to tell me what you think is going on in the comment, I would be happy to listen to what you have to say. But this is, again, this is not quite what I was expecting. I was expecting the coloration in the middle to be more solid, and I don't know if that, again, the striping of the yellow that you have in the middle of the lip there, if that's, you know, if that's good or bad, or if that's just something that is just going to vary from flower to flower. The other thing, if you take another look at the flower itself, you can see on the petals, on all of the petals, there is the flaring that you see that's typical of Toshi Aoki. And so you do get the flaring, the little bit of red flaring. Again, I've seen other flowers that have had more of this. And this is why Toshi Aoki is used a lot in breeding programs is because of the striking flares that are on the petals, the red flares that are on each of those petals. Again, these are little tiny red flares that come out from each of the petals, but it's still there, and it's still a really brightly colored flower. It's my only bloom and my first bloom on this plant, and I'm hoping that I'll see more. So that's all I have for today. This is just a little short video of a couple of new blooms that I have in my garden, and these are, I should say, so this is my orchid nursery behind there and down there, and I'll show you. I got to replenish my orchid nursery. I'll have some videos on that as we move forward. Anyway, if that's all I have for today. If you like what you saw and you want to keep on seeing my videos, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. Okay, that's all I have. Thanks for watching, and happy propagating.